Hi there, I'm outside test centre in Bletchley, Milton Keynes. I'm going to do quite a tricky test route that covers lots of little small roads, busy big roads, dual carriageways, double combination roundabouts, large roundabouts, small roundabouts. Included in there is the B&Q roundabouts. I think they do it twice on there as well on this route. It's not an easy one, but it's an interesting one. It's quite challenging. So I'll just turn the car around and then we'll take it from there. So we'll just come up to the test centre on the left. So we're going to pick up the test route from here. So you come out of the test centre and you do a right turn at the end of the road. Looks like someone just coming for the driving test. So you've set off a couple of minutes ago. You're a little bit nervous. You just got to keep you cool and do what you normally do with your instructor. Just check both ways, wait for the safe gap, and then bring yourself out. What you don't want to do is rush out in the first few minutes and be waiting really and hit the brakes, so you just got to be careful. So it starts off nice and easy to start with. You've got a roundabout coming up, left turn at the roundabout, nothing trickier. So it's quite a deceiving test route. It starts off easy, gets a little bit harder, so it's a little bit complicated. So it's mirror signal left. It's nice and clear ahead of you, so there's no reason to slow down. You can see beyond the parked car straight away. It's nice and clear, checking to go round. Nothing complicated. I'm not going to be pulling over all the time like they do on the driving test, because you know that sort of thing, what they already do. What I will do is I'll pull over at certain points just to remind you of what they're going to be doing. So I'm giving way loads of parked cars ahead of us, so it could be obstacles, so you want to get yourself back in after this white car, see what's up the road. It's nice and clear, checking to go past them. And what they want to see is that you're not hanging around for no reason. So if the road's clear, then you want to make the right progress. You don't want to be going too slow. So it's a 30-mile-an-hour road. You won't be able to do 30 on here because there's too many obstacles, but you've got to do a reasonable speed. So at the end of the road, we're going to be doing a left turn. So I'm just slowing the car down. I've done my mirror signals previous. Junctions, a bit of a semi-closed one, so you're slowing down for a reasonable speed. It's nice and clear. Carry on going. You've got your first double roundabout coming up. It's a mini one. You can see the blue sign in the distance. We're going to do a left turn. So there's nothing too tricky to start with. So it's quite a nice ease into the test route, but it does get harder as it goes on. So we're slowing down, checking to the right, giving way to the car. It's nice and clear beyond the car, so I'm following him out. I'm not hanging around too long, otherwise I might miss my spot. Just remembering that you're building your speed up, you're still in a 30-mile-an-hour area, there's nothing to say anything else. As you go over a brow of the hill, your instructor's probably already told you to keep an eye on the speeds, to keep an eye on it as you go over the speed, over the hump. So we're going to take the second right turn, which is just past the pedestrian lights. Here's the first right going past, so that they say someone at you. So just check their mirrors, let everyone know you're going right. Slowing down for the traffic coming up towards you. Get yourself across to the position that you want to get to. There's no way you're going to make that, it's not lots of time, but you are slowing down, so you've got a hill start straight away. You get yourself prepared for it. Nice little gap after this grey car, so there's no rush. So that was important to get across to the white line then while you're waiting, because as we're waiting, a motorbike went past us, where if you're in the middle of the lane, you're going to make it after the motorbike, so you'll be penalised for positioning there at the same time. So nothing too tricky apart from the hill start then. Bit of a sharp bend coming up, so you're slowing down for it, looking beyond the bend. And then I'm just going to pull over before the red car on the left. So yeah, so what we've got ahead of us is a left turn. So you can see there's parked cars on the opposite bit, so they wouldn't actually ask you to do it there, but most days it's quite clear there. So it's a prime example of a left reverse up an hill, which is quite a tricky one to start with. So you can see the name of the road sign as you go past it. So I'm just going to move on from this point. So it's quite a steep hill going down, loads of parked cars, you can see right up the road. Too difficult at the moment, a bit of a bend of a parked car, so you're slowing down for the bend just in case, because it's quite a difficult one there. You can't see what's around it, you just got to be a little bit careful. There's a sharp bend ahead of us. You know it's a sharp bend because the houses are actually 45 degrees facing, and when you get around the bend they're going to ask you to pull over somewhere. So a good place would be just by the telephone pole on the left, so I'm just going to pull over a second. It's a nice little bit of a curve there. And we'll talk about what's happening next. So this is the point where they're going to stop you if you're independent driving. So I'm just going to stop the camera a second while I just move. So we're going to carry on moving on to this independent driving from this point, which is we're going to follow the road to the end. And this is where it gets a bit tricky. At the end of the road you're going to do a right emerge. Now the right emerge is not so much hard, except for it's on a hill onto a busy road. So you've got to keep you cool and make sure you get right to the giveaway lines, otherwise you're not going to see anything. And then after you do your right emerge, you're going to follow signs for central Bletchley. So we're only about a minute from the test centre still. So it's a right turn at the end, and you can see it's a bit of a hill start at the same time, and you've got to get right to the line, otherwise you're not going to see what's coming from the left. And it's just like normal, it's quite a busy junction, so you could be here for a minute or two, or you could get the gap within the first few seconds. So I'm just checking all the time, left and right, right and left, whichever way you want to see it as. It's clear on the left, clear on the right, got my gas on, got my biting point, and I'm moving off nicely. So I was there about 20 seconds I reckon, nothing too complicated. And I'm just following the signs for Bletchley, which is straight on central Bletchley. So I'm slowing down to this small roundabout. It's not a mini, it's a small one, so it does require your mirrors and signals to come off. And stick it to your left lane when you come off it as well. So it's getting busier, the traffic, so we're gradually getting to busier and busier roads. So this is what I mean about it getting more complicated. Now, for a driver who drives it every day, it's challenging. We're going to do a left at the roundabout. Check it to the right, it's nice and clear, so we're going to carry on going. And it's still 30 miles an hour, would you believe it? There's nothing to anything else. So at this point, the examiner's going to update it and just say to you, follow the signs for Bletchley industry. So at the moment, even though it's busy, the traffic's flowing quite nice, and it's important to kind of move along with the traffic. If you try not breaking the speed limit, and the speed limit's just changed as we come off the roundabout, it's a 70 mile an hour speed limit now. So we're building our speed up for a reasonable speed. Some instructors, some examiners will just say, just keep following the road ahead at these next two roundabouts. Some of them will say follow the signs for Denby North. So there's different ways to do it. If you look at one of my previous videos, you'll see me do it on the left side. This time I'm going to do it from the middle, so I'm just going to check the right to get out. You can see arrows on the ground, we can go ahead in this lane, so we're just slowing ourselves down. And the important thing about here is not rush it, just take your time, get your gears sorted. Keep it nice and tight on the bends. You can see ahead of you the sign saying Denby North, straight on still, so we're following the road ahead. So this is checking to your right, giving way to the traffic on your right. Not like the Mini being cheeky. That's what you've got to say, is don't take silly risks. Checking the mirrors, let everyone know. Now when you get trucks like pulling in, just let them pull in, keep your gap, drop back, keep your 2-second gap. Otherwise, if you get too close to them, you're not going to see anything. All you're going to see is the back of the truck, no signs, nothing. So, speed limit here, if anyone guesses, anyone knows already, it's actually 40. But if you're too close to the truck, you're not going to know. You're going to miss all the signs all the time. So at the moment we're doing 30, so you can only go as fast as the car in front. So at this point we're updating the independent signs to central Milton Keynes. So we've got our first visit through the B&Q. That went quite smoothly, traffic was running quite nice. Nothing too complicated. You can see the little repeater signs on the left lamp post then. And you've got a warning sign of a roundabout, so you have the opportunity then to start looking for the signs. So you can see Central Milton Keynes, follow the road ahead. You can see it on the sign coming now. So you're just preparing yourself for the roundabout. You know, you're easing off the gas, not too early, but you don't want to leave too late. Last thing you want to do is brake that hard. Bring your speed down to the gears. The speed limit is still 40 miles an hour, it's reminding you. The weather's changing, so we're going to use the windscreen wipers now. And at this point, we're updating again, so we get lots of updates on this independent drive for Tinker's Bridge. So you can see on the second sign, Tinker's Bridge, right at the bottom, right turn. So quite busy traffic. I mean, it's not dead late in the afternoon, so they're quite busy roads we're on at the moment. Now, because the weather's deteriorating, I've got my lights on now. It's important to do things like that. You can't drive around in the dark. Now just remember, because the weather's deteriorating, the stopping distances are increasing and your gap between you and the car in front doubled from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So Tinker's Bridge, straight ahead. So nothing too complicated, just busy roads. Now if you're like me and you look quite far in the distance, you would have noticed there's a combination roundabout coming up, 2 roundabouts together. So you've got to start thinking about, right, 2 things to sort out here. So you need to start looking for signs for Tinker's Bridge. So it's not on the first one. You can see it on the second, it's just coming up, it's in the second exit, right turn. So I'm going to get across the right lane to make it easy. Because you can see the arrows on the ground saying straight ahead. No signal required to go straight ahead, it's just a signal to come off. But you're going to stay in the right lane, because that's where you want to be going. See on the sign there, saying right turn. Now the important thing to know here, you're letting everyone know you're going right, but the middle lane's going the same way as you. which means when you come off the roundabout, there's going to be possibly someone in the left lane. So you're checking your mirrors, signalling, check your shoulder, definitely clear. So you're coming across to the left lane. At that point, your independent driving finishes, and the examiner's going to say, let's follow the road ahead. So we're just going to follow the road ahead at the moment. And I'll take you through the rest of the route. So we've covered possibly half of the route at this point. So we're coming to a roundabout, this ain't nothing, follow the road ahead. So we're heading back to Bletchley, going past Mount Farm. The important thing you've got to remember is you keep your focus, because every time you're driving, whether it be lessons or on your driving test or after your driving test, it's a bit like every time you're having a driving test, because you're trying to drive as safe as you can. Two sets of lights, one on the left's straight ahead, that's ours, one on the right's for turning, so that confuses learners. So it's important that, you know, whether even though it's raining, I'm doing 38 miles an hour, I don't have to do maximum speed, but I'm not shouldn't be going too slow, because it's not a difficult road to drive on, it's quite an easy road. And I'm going to follow the road ahead, which is a bit of a right turn, but you can stay in the left lane to do it. Letting everyone know I'm coming off. Cars and the white vans ahead of us, they all know I'm coming off. So everything's going along nice and smooth, you feel like you've done all the hard work, and then they hit with another one. So it's a right turn at the roundabout, and it gets complicated again. So there's not much of a rest between the combination at English Bridge to get into here, and we're not far from the B&Q, so if you know the area, you'll realise that we're going to head back to the B&Q again. So we're just in Mount Farm at the moment, slowing down for the traffic. We're in a 30 zone, so we're just going to keep our gap. It's important, if you get too close to things, you're going to miss what's going on, because the truck's blocking your view. So you just got to keep your space, keep your gap, expect the unexpected. So when we finish this video, it won't be the full 40 minutes, because I've not pulled over, I've not, you know, because they're going to pull you over about 5 times on the driving test. Then they're assessing if you're checking your mirrors and signaling if you need to, if you're pulling over at the safe spot, that's convenient and legal, and when you're pulling off, you're checking around your blind spots and you're checking to make sure. Now, if you want to have a look at what sort of common faults people do on driving tests, then if you check out at the top there's an icon that you can click on, that will take you to a video for the common faults of driving tests. So ahead of us, we've got to go left. They say no right turn. Now I always do a signal even though it says left, going left, and that way everyone knows it's nice and clear. So we're heading back to the large roundabout, we call it Denby, so we call it B&Q, and we're going to do a right turn heading towards Buckingham, which is the third exit. See it on the sign, Buckingham, third exit. Let everyone know your intentions. So it's a spiral roundabout, it's one if anyone's wondering. So you start off and you come across in sections. So I'm checking to the right, it's pretty clear. I can see on the roundabout that it's taking you in the middle lane straight away. If you took the right lane, that's okay still, but you need to move across at certain points. So I'm checking the left side, changing my signal, coming across with the lines, and signalling to come off. And sticking to the left lane, don't shave back into the middle, because you'll get done for dangerous driving for changing lanes. You always come off in the left lane if you can. So speed limit's 40 miles an hour at the moment. You can see the sign on the right. We're going to go ahead at the roundabout, taking the second exit. It's important to keep an eye on the exits because you can see they're not very big exits. They've added a new one here in the last year. And in the distance, the speed limit's going up to 60 when you come off the roundabout. You can see the sign already coming up. So early observations makes things easier to spot things. Gotta watch out for traffic on your right because it can come down in any lane coming across you. Let them know your intentions. Build your speed up for the speed limit change. So most of the hard work's already done, but this road does get busy, and if it ends up being a bit of a tailback leading to the roundabout, you're sat in traffic on a hill, so you've got to be able to control the clutch. And looking ahead, there's a little bit of a tailback at the top of the hill, nothing too complicated, but it's enough to keep you busy because you've got to constantly slowing it down, constantly look at the road. So we're heading up the road to the roundabout which joins up to the 421. You can see on the left, we want to go left at the roundabout so we get ourselves across to the left lane. Slowing ourselves down nice and early so we're not braking too hard. And when you're in traffic like this, you just got to remember it's not a rush. No one's going away fast. So it's selecting the correct gear, so it's got to be in first gear at this point because you're only doing about 1 mile an hour. And don't be afraid to let someone out. So if they're looking at you, let them go. Not wrong with doing that. After all, you're not going that fast yourself. They appreciate it, and in return they'll let someone out one day, which could be you. So it's just nice and easy. So I've caught up with the car, even though I let someone out. So it's not making a massive difference. So traffic like this, for a learner, they get quite nervous with, but if you just take your time and just say, I'm not in a rush, I'm just going to take it nice and easy. After all, if I end up rushing, I'll end up panicking, or I'll end up rolling backwards. So I've got a biting point, so just take your time, no rush. So you're going from first gear to second to first gear to second all the time. So you're building speed, you build the gears, you slow yourself down, go back to first. It's important that if you're stopping, straight back into first. A common mistake people do is pull off in the wrong gear. So I'm going to go left at the roundabout. So I've delayed the signal because the traffic's running slow. There's no point in putting on too early if you're far away. And checking to the right. It's a busy roundabout, but it's also an advantage sometimes where you can get out quite easy. And then straight away, left turn into Bletchley, back up the gears. So you're heading back to test centre at this point. Speed limit's coming back down to 30. And it's important to keep your focus. Last 5 minutes of the driving test, there's usually chuck an hill start in there, or a tricky roundabout. It's up to you to deal with it. So 30 mile an hour road, keep an eye on your speed going downhill, otherwise you end up doing 35. You'll be gutted for speeding in the last 5 minutes. Roundabout, right turn. Slowing down, checking, definitely clear. Like I say, I got down to about 10 mile an hour in that roundabout because I couldn't see what was coming from the right. But you build your speed back up, you back up the gears. Last thing you want to do is sit in second gear all the time. Use your third gear around here. So left turn. Heading on to Wally Drive. You can see ahead of you, there's a blue van on the left causing a problem on the top of an hill on a bend. So you've got to approach with a little bit of caution, looking down the path on the left, checking what's happening behind you. and if it's clear, don't hang around, get on with it. It's going to follow the road ahead at the roundabout. We are slowing down for the traffic on the right, just in case someone comes out fast. Because you've got to remember, you've got to drive like normal. What I see a lot of learners do is when they get towards the end of the test, last 5 minutes, they start speeding up. Whether that's nerves, or the fact that they're getting excited because they've been out for, they look at the time and they realise they've nearly finished the test, so they start speeding up. Combination of lots of things, but you just got to keep your focus and just keep remembering 30-mile-an-hour road, it's pretty clear, 28, 29 is good enough. Use me gears, don't be afraid to use third and fourth gear if it can take it the car, because every car is slightly different with the gears. So you want to be at least third gear, possibly fourth. At the moment I'm using fourth on here. I'm doing 29 miles an hour. It's quite a clear road. Just spotted an examiner. So they pull you over on the left, if you wondered, to a hill start, just for the end of the test. So if you do pull up to get a hill start at the end, don't be in a rush to pull off, just get yourself ready. Check to make sure it's clear, make sure you've got your biting point. Last thing you want to do is rush off and roll backwards. And then we're slowing down for the white van on the right, gives us time to get past the blue car then. All of them was drop to gear, a little bit of braking, keep it nice and smooth, back up the gears. Remember, don't keep travelling along in the wrong gear. So we're about 2 minutes from test centre, and just about to talk about the test centre. When you come at the end of the test, don't be in a rush to get into the test centre. Make sure it's clear the road you want to go into. You don't want to rush in there and then hit the brakes because there's a delivery driver delivering a parcel and it's parked around the corner. So you just need to be careful and remember to drive like you normally do. Would you drive into your driveway at the end of coming back from the end of your shift at work like an idiot? The answer is no. You slow down. So slow down like you normally do. And a left turn here. Just avoid that bottle. No point in going over it if you can avoid it safely, because it might be glass. The last thing you want to do is get a flat tyre. So you've got a roundabout coming up, we're going to go ahead, but you need to slow down for it. That's a good reason to set car pop out in. Checking to your right. If you didn't slow down and you hit the brakes hard, you could get a serious for not giving the correct observation on the approach, or approach speed being too quick. Left turn is the test centre road, which is Wilton Avenue, and then remember what I said about as soon as you turn left here, it's a right turn. We're just going to go straight on, but if you go turn right, you'll be checking over the fence on the right, make sure it's clear to go in. If it's not, you'll be stopping here. So I'm just going to drive past this learning car, and then I'm going to park up down there on the left, and then we'll just finish it off with debrief the route. So that was the route. I thought it was quite an interesting route. I didn't stop as much as they do on the driving test because you know how to do it already. All I've got to do is take you on the route, take you on some of the tricky bits, talk you through what sort of things you need to be looking for, just sort of stuff that you've been taught by your instructor. But hopefully it'll give you an idea of what some of the routes are like. That's a tricky one. If you like it, click on like, click on subscribe, and I'll keep making them. Bye.